A second stimulus battle heats up with multiple competing plans hitting Capitol Hill. This is LALATE for Tuesday, May 12th. Thanks for tuning in. As always, like and subscribe to this channel and drop your comments below. We might feature them in tomorrow's update. We have a lot of comments and we're going to get to them. But first, the news, really exciting news. There are multiple competing second stimulus check proposals now on Capitol Hill. As an overview, they differ in duration, amount, and delivery. Some are $1,200, some are $2,000, some are multiple checks over multiple months. They're coming from both sides of the aisle, from both parties. However, new data indicates that Republicans are stalling. No less than 50% of Republicans don't want a second stimulus check for you. However, an overwhelming number of Democrats are pushing for it right now. We have the shocking data on where the second stimulus check battle is going. As reported yesterday on LALATE, the second stimulus check battle will come to a vote as early as this Friday, but not sooner. Members of Congress from both sides have indicated that a vote for a second stimulus check won't be held until Friday. Initially, we hadn't heard about the amounts that much. Now we are. We're hearing everything from $1,200 to $2,000, from 1 month to 3 months or 6 months. We're hearing very large payments to very small payments. But the data now is shocking. 84% of Americans now polled are asking for a second stimulus check. Overwhelming. 62% of them say that a second stimulus check should be sent to everyone, irregardless of whether you are employed or unemployed or your status. Finally, 64% of all people asked said that they will run out of money in 3 months or less if they do not get a second stimulus check. Incredible data. But here the data is even worse. That one was from Wallet Hub. This is from a CNBC poll. And it found that 94% of people surveyed are asking for the second stimulus check to come by direct deposit. They are unhappy, as reported by you, the reader and the viewer on this channel. You are unhappy that paper checks for a first stimulus check are being delivered as late as June now. Some of you have never even received your first stimulus check. 94% of people polled want the money to come by direct deposit. Second, a significant majority, 74%, want reoccurring monthly payments. They want multiple stimulus checks, not just a second, but multiple, until the pandemic ends. And they don't believe the pandemic is ended now. The bipartisan support is really interesting. 96% of Democrats want a second stimulus check to come to you ASAP. 74% of independents wanted to come, but only 53% of Republicans polled support a second stimulus check as of this week. Shocking. 22% of viewers voted, viewers for CNBC reported that too much has already been spent on the impact of COVID-19, and they don't want a stimulus check going out. Well, so much for that. Now, how about the amounts? $2,000 seems to be the overwhelming issue. The question is, how many $2,000 checks? Nancy Pelosi has really been the champion for the second stimulus check and recurring payments. She said today, we need to get the money into the pockets of American people ASAP. Exactly right. You have been saying that in the channel. If you agree or you disagree, drop your comments. We'd love to hear from you. There are a lot of different strange packages that are being proposed today. They have unusual names. We're not going to go through them. Some of them not. Most of them are not up for a vote. We're not going to spend your time covering things that aren't up for a vote. The issue, though, is that the overwhelming number of them all call for a second stimulus check to come ASAP, that the smallest amount of them is $1,200, and the largest amount of them is up to $16,000. There are proposals by Senator Harris, Sanders, Markey, $2,000, $5,500 per household. It's just all over the place. And there you go. So let's jump to your comments. What do you think? What do you think? How many checks? LALATE's opinion is the following. We've indicated it before. We're going to be a little bit more robust about it right now. We think that you have been screwed. It's as simple as that. You are entitled to a first stimulus check for the month of March to be delivered in the month of April. You got it, but you're also entitled to a check for the month of April to be delivered in the month of May. Where is it? You're entitled to that April check now. You're also entitled to a May check in the month of June, which is just around the corner. That's just the minimum. 2 checks, I think, is really just the minimum. Now, what is the benchmark? And, I'd love to hear your comments. What is the benchmark on how many checks you should receive? Many people have said the benchmark is the unemployment rate. Steve Mnuchin on Sunday said this unemployment rate is at its worst levels ever. It is higher than it is currently reported. He believes it's at 25%. Most of the second stimulus checks determine the number of checks based upon how long that unemployment rate is at. I mean, really, that's the issue. Unemployment is determined by a person, by an individual. And unemployment is to be supplemented, or is to be curbed, or is to be redressed by the delivery of stimulus checks. The federal government is delivering the stimulus check. It should be the federal government, because state resources are being exhausted because of PUA and unemployment benefits. It's the second stimulus check that should come from the federal government. They told people to stay home. They should be paying for those employees or those citizens. Next, how many months? Well, if it's not tied to unemployment, then it could be tied to other factors. What are the factors you think they are? Drop them in the comments below. King Cap says, I think 6 to 12 months of stimulus checks are needed, especially if they believe another wave is coming, which means another shutdown. That's a great point, King Cap. The CDC last Monday, not this Monday, but last Monday, said that it's predicting 250,000 new cases of coronavirus per day compared to 25,000 currently at its worst level, and 3,000 deaths per day. Dr. Fauci today said we're opening America too fast, and that the second wave could be coming. We're now seeing second waves in China and other countries like Singapore, and they're really not dealing with it. They're opening up second waves for a reason. They're opening up America in a very sort of haphazard way. But if you do it, then when you have to shut down America again, potentially, how quickly can you get a stimulus check ready? My theory is the following. Why not get a stimulus package ready now if there is a second pandemic? Why should we have to wait 2 months of debating on Capitol Hill when all indications from medical health officials are that there will be a second pandemic? Tony Kitchen says, I love your channel, and I'm so stoked you read my comment on air. Thank you. Well, we're reading it again today, so thank you for commenting. So much. I like the rest of the people. My day is fulfilled after listening to you. God bless you and all your videos. You're so accurate in my book. Please keep posting, even if the virus promise to watch you. Well, thank you, Tony. Give us your comment, Tony. We love to feature you again tomorrow. Give us your comment. What do you think? How many stimulus check? How much? When do you think it should pay for? Do you think we should have stimulus checks set up now if there's a second pandemic ahead of time? Members of Congress move so slow. They really move so slow. And we know a second pandemic is coming. So should we have that? Should we take care of this now? We're basically taking care of now in May what was an issue in March. We detailed extensively on this channel that the CARES Act 1 called for 2 stimulus checks, and they trumped it, well, choice of a bad word, they threw it out because they said, we'll deal with it when it happens. Well, it's now. And Senator Mitch McConnell was under fire on Monday for saying we don't know the impact of the economy currently. We're not going to do a second stimulus check. Yes. Mitch, you do know. You do know. And that's just a lot of hogwash. You know the impact of the economy. Your Treasury Secretary, Steve Mnuchin, says 25% unemployment rate. That's as simple as you need to know. Phaser Works Rock says, thanks for clearing it up. Well, thank you. Don Keener says, never say it's okay to take away Social Security, but I know they've been wanting it for a while now. Interesting. Scott says, LALATE, you're by far the most informative on this subject, COVID-19. Keep up the awesome job. Thank you, Scott. And drop your comments. We want to hear what you're thinking about it. A lot of big debates and a lot of different plans. Shannon says, thank you so much for your time and your effort putting into the channel. Absolutely look forward to your very informative videos. Stay safe. I am. And you stay safe as well. Remember, this is just my own personal opinion. A lot of people talking about face masks. hand gloves. Please, please wear hand gloves, surgical gloves, if you're going into the supermarket. Here's a great tidbit if you don't know. Surgical gloves, the ones you get off of Walmart, they're blue, they're about $10 for about a 500 pack. Throw them in the washing machine on hot water. They come out perfectly clean. They're reusable. No one else tells you that, but I'm certainly telling you that. Use gloves when you're in the post office or the supermarket. Throw them in the back trunk of the car, take them off. Don't drive the car steering wheel with those gloves. Wash the steering wheel when you get home, but you can put those gloves in the washing machine. Hot water, bleach, soap, they clean, and you can put them in the dryer as well. Kathy, you are so awesome on how informative you are to all of us. Thank you so much. Here's a novel idea. Why don't we pause on paying all these politicians a ridiculous salary? We pay them for padding the rich pockets and not taking care of these people they're supposed to be representing. How about we pass a bill that only the people with the costly tax breaks, with plenty already, they slipped into the last CARES Act. Great point, Kathy. I mean, these politicians, whether you're state or local or city officials, and boy, there are a lot of city officials who did nothing during the first pandemic but stay home, couldn't figure out how to do a Zoom chat to pass rules for the local cities. These politicians, many of them, and some are great, but some of them have done nothing in their entire life but be a politician. They have gone in their entire life being a politician and collecting benefits, and they do very little, and they do stuff very slowly. And this thing of doing things slowly is inexcusable. Logan, want to be friends? Yes, let's be friends. Linda, thank you for sharing. Thank you, Linda Lee. Lackey Handy. I'm not sure why this is so hard. I agree, Lackey. Americans are not supposed to be paying for anything, but our debt is paid under HJR 192. Since they stole it from American people, the remedy for us is to prepay our debt. They hide it amongst the laws. The U.S. opened the unlimited accounts. This back and forth stuff is going to use our tax dollars. It's stupid. Great point. I mean, Steve Mnuchin sometimes is just all out to left field when he says Americans can live for 3 months on $1,200. But in other regards, he's been very on point on some issues. On Sunday morning, he talked about taking away a lot of these taxes that are coming out of your check that you may start beginning if you're getting back to work in the month of May or June. He doesn't want the federal government to take as much money as they are out of your weekly or your monthly check. So his idea is not only to give you stimulus checks, but also to take less money away from you on a weekly basis. Tony says, move now is the time to borrow. Interest rates are low. Zero print those greenbacks. You always get my likes and subscription. Well, thank you, Tony. Great point. As we detailed in the EIDL loan story and the PPP loan story, be informed about interest rates. Interest rates are incredibly low. They are insanely low. 0%, close to 1%. And when people are talking about 3% or 4% and 5% fixed rates for 30 years, please think about what you're doing, because, you can get a lot of great stuff for low interest rates now. Patricia says, no money, never got the first stimulus direct deposit, so won't get the second one. That's unfortunate. As we detailed earlier this week, tomorrow, Wednesday, noon, I think it's Eastern Standard Time, is the deadline to go to Check My Payment to put in your direct deposit information. If you've not done it already, it's Wednesday. If you don't do it, you will receive your first stimulus check in the month of May or as late June by mail in paper format. Wow, a lot of great stuff. Thank you for your comments. As always, CFLA for more.